on the 7th of April, talking to George and Muriel about the history of Open House, and we're going to get a bit of the background to the early starting points and then some of the journey along the way. So thank you, George, and thank you, Muriel, for agreeing to let us into your home and to have a chat about the history and the 50 years of Open House. So,
you're welcome. Being a director of an electrical company, and Muriel kept going with GFS, and she was the steady one, and so that's where it started. And then when God called me out of the electrical, Jack Shilton asked me if I'd go do the youth work there.
okay.
And we did the first 12 months as volunteers. We didn't get paid, and then we gradually got involved.
Yep. I can remember. So, who were the people at St James who supported you in the beginnings of Open House? Because you had a group of people around you. I mean,
John Solomon.
Oh yes.
And Alan Kerr and David Woods. We met on the Saturday morning at Alan Kerr's place, and that's how we were going to call it I'd written a statement about it being the 3 C's. But we changed the name, but that's how it started that morning.
Yeah.
If Dick Olmedo hadn't been on, I don't think Open House would be here.
Yeah.
Because Dick was the one who advised us to buy, and if we had have rented, I think Open House would have been gone long ago.
Well, that sound investment certainly set the foundations for the future.
Yeah.
So, Muriel, when did you actively get involved in sort of Wednesday Club and Friday Club? When did that come along?
Well, I used to go down sometimes.
Yeah.
When I could, my mum would sometimes come out, and I could go down sometimes of a Friday night. But there was and because we opened, through the day, there was a little group of people from a nursing home around the corner that used to come in, and they used to just sit there and, we'd talk, and so we realised that perhaps they'd like to do something, and so we started the Wednesday Club.
Okay.
And they used to come, we used to have to pick them up, of course. We'd walk round and get them, and there's 2 nursing homes that were very close, and people came from both of them because they heard about Open House, and so that's how we really started. They were coming in doing nothing, and so Margaret Curry, who was the other one, Margaret and I decided perhaps, we'd do some art and craft, and so we did, and they really enjoyed it. The sad thing was that often the things they made, as soon as they got back to their front door, they'd take them off them.
Yeah.
And that was very sad in a way, because they, really loved what they were doing. But not always, but, often they did. And
so that was the beginnings of Wednesday and Friday Club.
And then out of that, there was some people came. Someone dropped some people in who had quite a disability, and they just went.
Yeah.
They could see themselves as they were before, and so we realised we had to do something. So we started a Friday Club for them, and they were doing the same things. Only it took a lot longer, but they still, did the same things. But it was. It was a different program for them. Yeah.
And Friday Club people were never allowed to leave the house they were in.
Yeah.
was a terrible situation.
Mm.
And
So Friday Club would have been the only outing for them during the week?
that was their only joy they had.
Yeah.
We had a lass come out from the government when we were seeking funding, and anyway, she saw the longevity of the people, and she said, this isn't good because you're a crutch, you're holding them up. And I said to her, do you belong to a social group? And she said, oh yes. I said, well, what you're saying is these people aren't allowed to belong to a long-term social club. So she walked off, she didn't answer me. People don't make a long-term commitment, and these people take a couple of years before they start to trust people.
Well, it's been a hallmark of Open House, hasn't it, that long-term nature, that people can come back 20, 30 years later and Open House is still there.
Yeah, well, some started like you at 14 when the age was 15, but and have been involved ever since. And I think that's just one of the marvellous things.
It is. It's one of the great strengths of Open House. It's, yeah. But at an individual level, there were lives that changed.
Oh,
You know, at an individual level, there are people now who are alive and whose lives are worthwhile and have meaning because of the work. So I just want to make sure that, I mean, you're talking at a big picture, but at the individual life sort of level, there are people whose lives, you know, are incredibly blessed because of the work.
I don't think we'll fully realise how many lives have changed until we get to heaven.
That's it. Yeah, that's a good point.
If I had known what Open House was going to become, I would have been too scared to start it. Because I never dreamt that it would develop